My Pat McGrath Petalmorphosis finally arrived. Can I get a cheer from my staff? I don't have a staff. It's just me. Can I get a cheer from me? Woo! Yeah, if you've been with my channel for any length of time, you'll know that I have this history that at this point kind of makes me laugh, where I get Pat McGrath shipments super, super late. Let's see, 1 year. Do you guys remember this? Tell me in comments if you remember this. 1 year there was like, it was on a train and the train crashed. And I got some sort of a note. I got a note that the train crashed and that they were sending a helicopter. I'm not kidding. They're always super late. Sometimes I don't get it and I get it from Sephora and then it's still late because I hem and I haw and I wait. Anyway, I waited for this one and it finally came. This was released about 2 years ago. No, it feels like that. I get Pat McGrath really late, but I'm going to do a little different take on it today. You'll see. With me, Rebecca. I am a fashion and beauty editor who has spent more than 20 years, like a lot more than 20 years in the trenches with some of the biggest names in fashion and beauty. I've interviewed people, followed them around, shadowed them, watched them work, written for them, ghost written for them. I've had newspaper columns, magazine articles. I've edited magazines. At any rate, I'm pretty digital now. And I've brought Not Fit for Print Beauty right here so that you have a sort of digital beauty magazine that you can watch every day or so here on YouTube. All right, so let me tell you my version of this Pat McGrath Mothership 12 Petalmorphosis palette. You've all seen it already because I know you're beauty fans. And because like I joked, I'm like the last one on YouTube, seriously probably, to get this. But I want to talk about it anyway for a number of reasons. First of all, this is going to be part of my, you probably all put this in your cart already, anticipating shopping at Sephora for the sales event. And all of my links down below will be Sephora because I know I'm building my cart. I'm going to do I'm actually kind of hauling a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to do a what I purchased at the Sephora sale and tell you everything. Some of it boring, some of it kind of cool and new. But I also I know you're building your cart, so I would love for you to use my links. It helps the channel. And those will be down below in the description bar, as well as where I can up here in YouTube shopping. So I'll put this up there, but I also am taking this Sephora sales series along with the products that I'm talking about, to also mention a few favorites. What I'm wearing right now is one of my favorites. This is the kind of mega lip pencil. It's really creamy, also from Pat McGrath. I love it in all the different red shades. It doesn't come off. It's easy to apply because it's a pencil, but it's chunky. This is that red garnet shade. And I'll make sure that I put that up there for you guys to check out. If you're filling your cart at the Sephora sale and you want to do a deeper, darker lip in any sort of shade, even the pinker ones, I just think this is a fantastic product that doesn't usually get enough hype. So please consider that. Okay, so this is the $128 Mothership 12 Petalmorphosis. I went ahead and got the lavender because why not? Do you know Lisa F? Congrats to Lisa F, who is not only a subscriber here, she's also a member. We have a membership here on YouTube. It's $4.99 a month, and we meet weekly to talk about all sorts of industry things and YouTube things and beauty things. We have so much fun. Lisa F is one of our own, and she won the signed palette from Pat McGrath, which is the coolest. And Lisa won it, Lisa F won it, and it was honestly like I won it myself. I was so excited, and she got it sent to her fairly swiftly, actually, and she is enjoying that already. So she has all the info, and it was this kind of lavender packaging signed from Pat McGrath, which is just super fun, right? Now we have our artwork that is common for our motherships. And you know, you've heard it all. Why are there no more baked special shades? And then there's rumors. And then it was Sephora said no. And then, so she bowed to Sephora. And then others, me being one of the others, says her interests lie elsewhere. Pat McGrath's interests are now lying elsewhere, that she's got something else in the works. And I was right, because she's gone over to launch beauty with Nicolas Gasquier at Louis Vuitton. Kind of interesting and cool. My theory that I've shared on my lives in the membership is that LVMH does infuse their designers with money for their namesake brands. So I'm hoping we'll see kind of a renaissance of interest that Pat McGrath takes in her own brand. as she's inspired working with Louis Vuitton. And Louis Vuitton does not seem like they are shipping this stuff out. I mean, a place like Gucci, I like Gucci makeup, except for the eyeshadow. But I don't really think that Gucci really knows what's happening over at Gucci Beauty. Coty Inc. does it. And I don't really think they're like in the same building, so to speak. But it looks like with Louis Vuitton, they are really working to do that. And that will mean a lot of inspiration. Pat McGrath is such an artist. And I hope it brings about a new love for her namesake brand, which has taken a beating a little bit in the past few years when everyone's saying they're seeing it at Ross Dress for Less, etc., etc. And then all the rumors about why we don't have any baked special shades. Now, one could say that all of the shades in a Pat McGrath palette are special. And I could definitely see that. But we do kind of miss those 4 shades at the end of a Mothership that used to be baked and special and kind of crazy shades. Why they're gone, you can listen to any rumor. I don't really know. But I want to take a look at these. These are really, they are quite beautiful. And they are quite creamy. And they are quite pigmented. And they're everything that Pat McGrath always promises us to be. And as much as I want to say, I don't know, they don't like that they do this. I don't like that they do that. Then I start playing with the makeup and I'm like, yeah, but it's gorgeous. And that's the thing. I mean, Pat McGrath makeup is gorgeous. But this video was actually influenced by another one of our viewers named Mary. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. First, I want to take these swatches outside in the warm California sunshine. You've seen them before because I said I'm the last person to get this palette, but you haven't seen them in the sloppy way that I do them, have you? So take a look at these outside in the warm California sunshine. And there they are. No baked special shades, but like I said, it's Pat McGrath. She's pretty special. I know I haven't given up on her just yet, let me tell you. I really have not. I'm also wearing her blush, her highlighter. When you pop over to the Sephora sale, maybe you're looking at this Mothership 12 or some other Mothership palettes. Check out like those lip pencils, the blush, the highlight. It's good stuff. Her bronzer was, I thought, pretty good too. And her second Dark Star mascara, excellent. If you're thinking about that for your Sephora list, please think about that. Okay. This is influenced by viewer Mary. So Mary is awesome. And Mary was being a little too hard on herself. Mary, you're way too hard on yourself. And she was saying, I've spent too much on makeup, which is something I hate seeing people do because as a hobby, I mean, obviously only spend what you can afford. That's obvious. Beyond that, as a hobby, I think makeup is innocuous. I think it's creative. I think it's fun. And I think it costs a lot less than the traditionally thought of male hobbies such as golf and hunting and cars and all of these things. So I don't like it when you guys put yourselves down about that. But I think Mary was really feeling that wasteful, not in terms of even that, but just having it, not using it. So she has started to go through her palettes and make work looks. So she's taking even the riskiest palettes and making looks that make her feel beautiful, because she is beautiful, and also make her feel ready for the workplace. And she's doing one a day, which is pretty amazing. And she's really inspired me. So what I want to do, I am not a wild eyeshadow look lady. I don't know if you've noticed. In fact, the face I've done here is kind of how I would go out for the day if we weren't doing this video. And notice I really, other than mascara, don't have eyeshadow on. So as someone who doesn't wear a lot of eyeshadow, and certainly not loud eyeshadow, I agree with Mary that this stuff is a thing of beauty, but not necessarily something I would reach for every day. But she inspired me. Mary, you inspired me. So let's do some very wearable looks from a Pat McGrath palette. And if you haven't done it yet, take a page out of Mary's book. Take all those palettes that you thought you haven't used in a while, line them up, and start using them. And do maybe what Mary does. Start using them in a way that's useful to you. Even if you're just using the brown, rose, and gold shades. At least you're using your palettes that you spent money on. Okay, so let's have a go at that, shall we here? Okay, I'm going to start with a rougher number 15, and we're going to do this eye first. And I am going to do a boring, basic look. Now, some of you are going to say, if you're going to do a boring, basic look, Rebecca, don't bother buying the palette, because a boring basic look could be made with one of a million different palettes and different shades. And to this I'd say you're not wrong, but you're also not addressing the psychology of the issue, which is that some of us, I don't know who, are completionists. and we want the pretty things. We want the little ruby in our hand to go, woo, but then we don't use it because we tell ourselves that we bought it for the beautiful shades. I almost said special shades, but those aren't there right now. And therefore, it's not worth touching if we're only going to use the boring shades. Here, let's go into this one here. I disagree with that. It's all shades, it's all makeup. Use it. Even if you're not really using the sparkly green shade for an everyday look, use the others. Yeah, if you're saving pennies, and there's different shoppers out there. You know, I spend a lot of time at YouTube because I'm in California and they're kind enough to invite me over to their place there in a beach city here in California. And they've identified all different types of shoppers. Some of us shop because we need those crazy individual shades. Some of us shop because we're completionists and we like the pretty thing. If you fall into the second category, use the makeup even if maybe the pretty thing colors aren't going to be used that much. Still use it. And I thought Mary was such a great inspiration. Okay, so I have used 2 shades here. I put a little darker in there. Okay, and then I'm gonna keep with this reference number 15 because I love to keep it simple. And I am going to go in here. Wait till you see what I'm going to do on the second eye. It's going to surprise you. Ooh, look at that. Just sparkly. How is that not good for work? Well, I'd have to have it on both eyes. Not sure it necessarily goes with the lip, to be honest. But it's not bad. This lip goes with everything. I love those lip pencils. You guys got to check those out in the Sephora sale. Okay, isn't that pretty? And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm even going to go into this sparkly shade here and just put that a little bit on the outside. I've used a ton of shades. I don't feel bad then that I've wasted and, you know, not used. And it's totally appropriate for work. Okay, but what about those wild shades? So let's switch to a reference number 1. With the wild shades, if you tend not to use them, I personally recommend. I don't like what I call rainbow eyes. We have so many talented makeup artists. I am a journalist and editor, so I know a lot about the business, but I'm not an artist, okay? My creativity is in writing and dispersing information, communicating. So I don't do a lot of these bold colors in one eye. It's just not something that's in my milieu, in my talent, right? So my suggestion to you is pick one of the crazy shades and use it as a one and done. So this other eye that we're going to do here is really going to be not much, really. Let's take this shade right here. I've got it on a reference number 1. I could have used my finger. No, I didn't drop the palette. It just sounded like it. Trust me. And I'm going to just go over my entire lid with this one shade. I'm not going to get too crazy. I'm not going to try to get too technical. Nothing. I am just going to put it on one eye as a one and done shade. Now, of course, you've got mismatched Rebecca, which might be a little bit hard to watch. I'm sorry about that. Look at this, just one shade. I'm then going to take a smaller brush. This is a reference number 3, and I'm going to take the same shade. I could take, let's take a different shade. Let's take let's take a different shade. Let's take this shade here because it's a matte, also kind of green, and let's go underneath the eye with it. This is a very thin brush, so I'm not doing a lot of it. Okay, back to our number 1, back into that interesting shade we used. I'm just going to deepen it a little bit, and I'm not doing anything technical. Because I think what happens with us when we get a little bit intimidated by a palette is we look at these crazy shades like this one, and we think, what can we do with it? And we see, here's a much more subdued look. We see these incredibly talented makeup artists using these palettes in such a way that intimidates us. My suggestion, once again, is go to town with the browns and golds and the rosy shades here. And then other days, if you want a crazy shade, choose one and just do a one and done with it. I'm covering this eye so that you don't get distracted. It works. This might be a bit of a going out look, where this one might be a bit more of a work look. But you understand what I mean. That really is my suggestion. If you've got a bunch of Motherships and you've kind of kicking yourself for not using them, go ahead and just use those neutral and those fun and those boring shades for a work look, and then do a one and done with a crazy shade of your choice. As you feel it and as you're getting into it, you'll maybe start adding a little bit to this boring neutral eye. It's not boring, but you know what I'm saying. And I just think that's a great way to make peace with your need to use your Pat McGrath palettes. That is my suggestion. So once again, take a look at this one. I think it's a gorgeous one. No, please note that you are paying $128, that there aren't any baked special shades for whatever myriad of theories and reasons that people have. But I still think her makeup is beautiful, and I still think it's worth it. There's a tad bit of fallout that comes with the glitter shades. It's Pat McGrath. You're not allowed to complain about that. But also at the Sephora sale, check out the Pat McGrath blushes, and by all means, these big chunky mega lip pencils in any color, really. I think they are one of the best makeup products on the market. So I want you to think about that too, because at time of the minute I publish this video, I think we're about a day away from the Sephora sale starting. So that's really cool. Links will be up here, down below. Check me out on all the socials you like Instagram and TikTok. You need any of these swatch compared? I do that over on Instagram. So just go ahead and ask me here, or send me a DM over on Instagram, or something in comments. I'm happy to do that for you. I just wanted to run through it really quickly with you and tell you that the carrier pigeon finally arrived. Bree, the carrier pigeon finally arrived, and it's here. And with me, thanks for the inspiration to Mary, and see you all in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe.